This is Kelly Wentworth from Survivor San Juan del Sur, and you're about to listen to one of my favorite sources for all things Survivor. This is Survivor Talk with D&D. So find your flint, grab a bag of rice, and all your fishing gear, and let the bartering begin. Take it away, D&D.
Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Dwayne.
And I'm David.
And we're just two best friends talking about the show we love, Survivor. And tonight is our recap and feedback for episode 12. We have a special guest tonight.
It's time to bring out Chaos Kass. Just take things up and show.
That's right. Kass is on the show with us. Hello, Kass.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's going great. Good to see you. Glad you're on the show. It's been a while.
Yeah, glad to be back.
Yeah, I have no idea why you would all of a sudden want to be on our show again.
Well, you know, I thought we arranged this early on this season.
Actually, we did, y'all. Those of you who are thinking that Kass is some
sneaky promotional person, yes.
Well, she really is, but we did plan this like 2 months ago, so. But anyway, It's good to have Kass on. We're going to talk about last night's episode, and of course, she'll tell us why she wants to be on Second Chance Survivor next season. I'm sure you would like to do that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
cause a little trouble. Cause a little trouble for some people out there.
Second Chance. What is this Second Chance you're talking? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later because we're not going to let it overshadow our podcast, like it has the whole Twitter world, whatever it is we're talking about.
I'm on a Twitter sabbatical.
Man, I might be too. This is getting ridiculous.
I don't like Twitter anyway, so I'm definitely getting on sabbatical now.
I tweeted a picture of me in the shirt with Jeff in your shirt tonight.
Yes, I saw that.
Okay, I might check that out, but otherwise.
I think you won. I think you look better in the shirt than Jeff does.
Well, he wasn't really wearing it properly. He was a little stiff when I was putting it on him. It was rough.
Yeah.
That came out wrong, didn't it?
No, it's fine.
We got the cardboard jokes. It's okay.
Yeah. Next week we have Kelly Wentworth on again to recap Is next week the penultimate episode? I think it is, isn't it?
No.
Is it not?
The finale is the 20th, so you got a regular episode next week, and then the whole shebang the next.
So next week is the penultimate then, right? Next to last?
Oh, is that what that means?
I think so.
I really shouldn't drink before these things.
And I shouldn't take pain pills because I'm a little loopy tonight. So Kass and I are going to get along really well.
Woo, we might go off on some tangent. Be great.
Yeah. Hey, did you listen to our exit interview with Tyler today, Kass? You might not have.
I did not. I've been super busy.
Oh, well, that's all right. But that was just my way of letting everybody know that we did our first exit interview ever today.
I saw that. How'd it go? Because they're usually like 10 minutes, right? Or something.
It was about 12 minutes, and it was a lot of fun.
I
talked like we were talking on the phone, and it wasn't anything formal.
My favorite part was when Dwayne said, I have about a minute left, and 4 minutes later, they wrapped it up, which was awesome.
Yeah. And then I saw that I had an email that said, you need to wrap this up. And I emailed her back. And I emailed her back and I said, I'm new to this. I thought you were just going to break in and say it was over. Sorry, next time I'll know.
and we kept it Survivor-like because I was Tyler and Dwayne was Carolyn because he tricked me into leaving the conference call just in time for me not to get back in, so he got to talk to Tyler by himself. So I felt Tylered. You know, I just felt he did it to me before I could do it to him. So well played.
Yeah, well, it was not intentional. But hey, go catch our exit interview with Tyler. I don't know. It's probably the only one we'll do this season, although he acted like the current survivors are asking CBS if they can be on our show. So that's kind of cool.
Who are we to say no?
I know. What am I going to do? I do want to say a thank you to our newest D&D patrons. David, we've had 3 new patrons this week, which put us over our next milestone. Mark DeFelice and Dan Paquette and Will Campbell. And I butchered all their names.
Except for Will.
Yeah. Do what, Kass?
I was going to say, maybe you did mess up Will's. Maybe it's Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell. But because of them, we reached our goal, and so in June we're going to have a patron-only call-in episode. And if you're a patron, just get on the Facebook group for patrons, and you'll know when we're doing it. And the next level is some weird song parody, and I got to wear an Aussie hat. I don't know how this is going to work, but anyway.
Epic. It's going to be epic.
So, we don't have sponsors. We don't have 2-minute commercials in the middle of the podcast. So we truly appreciate your D&D, our D&D patrons, as well as all of you who shop Amazon using our link. And guess what, Cass? We now have Canadian Amazon links. Eh?
Wow.
Yeah. stwdd.com/Amazon is regular. Put a CA on the end of it, and you're in Canada.
You have arrived.
I have. Our Facebook group, man, is all abuzz. It is all. These are the people I voted for, and this was great, David. I don't know if you saw this, but earlier on our Facebook group, which by the way you can get to easier now, stwdd.com/Facebook. Boom. So some guy wrote all the people that he voted for, and Cass wrote underneath there, "You're missing an important check mark, buddy."
I do tend to lurk around these boards, and I like to catch people off guard sometimes. So it's fun for me to go in, and they don't know I'm in there, and then I just pop in, and it's kind of fun.
Well, it's also neat that some of the current cast members are in our group, because we had some questions for Tyler pop up in a string, and Tyler responded to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
But it's funny because we had a whole bunch of new people join in the last week and a half, because our group got mentioned in an article, and they don't know y'all are in there, so it's great whenever Cass just surprises the people. It was great.
Hey,
I love it.
I
love to do it.
Go ahead. Just as a clarification, Mark would like me to repronounce his name for you, because it's pronounced Defaylache.
It is not.
He just put it in the chat room.
Mark Defaylache.
D-E-E, capital F-A-Y, L-E-E-C-H-A-Y.
Well, good for you. He's from Canada. He's in Canada.
Hey?
He's one of our newer listeners.
He's probably from Quebec.
Yeah, probably so.
And Will's not French. He put in the chat room, I'm not French.
No?
No, it's Canada.
All right, last thing. If you like Survivor blogs, we got 2 of them. Shayna Says by Shayna Davis, and The Players and Their Games by Alex Gomery. And, in fact, I think we're going to have Shayna and Alex on, although we haven't asked them yet, but towards the end of the season.
I think you just did.
I think I just did. Let's get to the show. Cass, have you been enjoying this season?
You know I love every season. So, yeah, I love Survivor. I don't know how you can not like a season, really, if you're just watching it. So.
Okay, well then is it better? I mean, do you rate seasons? Do you kind of have favorites and least favorites?
I do have favorites and least favorites, but this one's not in my favorites, but it's not in my least favorites.
Right.
You know.
Well, I think it was really, make sure I don't get my seasons confused. I'm pretty sure I enjoyed it a lot at the beginning. A little while I was getting kind of tired of it, and now it's starting to get better again to me. So.
I would agree with that. I think it's picked up in the last couple weeks.
Right.
If notwithstanding all the drama that's in the online community, if you just watch the show to watch it, it's fairly entertaining.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying seeing if I mean, Mike has put himself in a horrible position, and he did it to himself, okay? But I'm really enjoying watching him trying to get out of it, and this next week's going to be quite telling if he can get out of this.
But how epic is it going to be now that he has removed his #1 challenge threat, if he just continues through these next ICs and he can take it? I really think he can. He's a challenge beast.
Now, has he really removed his #1 threat? Because I think she's still there.
I was about to say that. Carolyn is a beast.
But
Carolyn took a nap in the last challenge. Come on, she was asleep through the last ring on the rope. Mike was barely trying to keep his bottom out of the water.
But she just pissed off everyone on the jury. Like, people say I did that when I flipped. Carolyn just did that. So, and people don't forgive especially like those people who are already on the jury, Hallie, Jen, Joe, and Shireen. None of them like Carolyn.
Right.
She's not getting their votes. So Carolyn would have to go with Will, Dan to win
Right.
at this point. So Mike can beat Carolyn. He doesn't have to beat her in every IC. He just has to get there. Right?
But
I'm not sold that she beats Dan flat out, but I can talk about that later.
Oh, dear God.
all right.
But so I don't think Carolyn can win this, just because of the 4 people already on the jury are not in love with her. Tyler now is going to be pissed at her. So there's 5 votes gone.
Right.
Bye-bye.
I think Tyler respects the move that she made because she did it to him before he could do it to her. But at the same time, I think she did it too early. I think she did it with too many numbers still in the game. Even though she has an idol and she is a challenge threat, I think it was too early for her to make this, to dump her one. I mean, he was not a threat to her. I mean, he only outlasted her the one challenge. But then again, don't you think we're coming up on puzzles and we're coming up on something other than physical strength?
Well, I hope so, with Will and Dan in there. But,
Those poor guys.
well, I don't think they'll do too great at puzzles either, so I'm not sure.
No.
Maybe a cheeseburger contest would be rigged for one of them.
Dan loves cheeseburgers.
That's right.
Right. Oh, cheeseburgers and sandwiches. They could have like a sandwich bar.
Yeah.
A making contest. There you go.
That's right.
But
That's right.
I don't think Carolyn is that great at puzzles. Mike was pretty good at puzzles.
Right.
Rodney to me is like a Tony. He's just going to throw the pieces around. So I'm not discounting Mike. And the move by Carolyn, I love the move, but I know how the game works and I know how bitter people are.
Right.
And I think she's lost 5 votes already.
Right.
That's speaking from my personal experience.
Yeah, those 5 people are going to have a lot of time together at Ponderosa.
Right.
And the mood is set with Hallie, Jen, Joe, and Shireen. The anti-Carolyn wave has just, it's a tsunami at this point. And the best thing Tyler can do in there is just assimilate and say, yeah, man, she screwed me too. And then he'll get in that mindset by the time we get to the jury.
Right. But can Mike make it to the end if he doesn't win, though? If he doesn't win immunity challenges? That's the kicker. Question. Right.
But he may be our greatest winner ever because he may just go on a run.
Man, I just think it would be an amazing thing.
I think it'll be as amazing as Chris Daughtry's run, where he faced all those women and ended up breaking them up enough that he got to the end.
Right. Since we're talking about... Go ahead, Cass.
And there's probably an idol going back into play.
Yep.
Yes.
And I would put a lot of money on the fact that Mike will find it.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but production is making sure he finds it. Oh, did I say that?
Yeah.
Who said that? That's right.
I'm sure we'll get something that's huge next episode.
Yeah. While we're talking about Mike, here's a YouTube comment. I'd like to hear your thoughts. This is from 4Seer44. I'd like to hear your thoughts on Mike's game. Well, we're already doing that. Everyone's saying that he went wrong at the auction, but did he doom himself earlier in the pre-merge? Was there any moment that sealed his fate without the auction bluff other than the Joaquin boot?
I don't think so, because I think Dan was one of the first ones today to say he lost all credibility at the auction, because some people took it personal that he was actually out there playing to win, trying to get an advantage. He put everybody out high and dry, and he was trying to take advantage to win, but it was apparently very personal. I think the bluff was the turning point for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I pretty much feel like it was the auction that doomed him. What about you, Cass?
I think he was a target. I mean, he's a strong guy. I think he was playing hard and people knew it. And I think he wouldn't have done that at the auction if he didn't feel that he were being targeted. And maybe I think he's actually a nice guy, so I think it got to him. And that's the only reason he backed out. So that move could cost him the game, backing down from that.
Sure. Well, yeah, maybe so. Because then he would have had 2 votes.
Right.
I guess the fair thing for me to say is, based on what I've seen on the show, I think it looked like it happened at the auction. But it probably happened a little bit before that, but we wouldn't know that because they didn't show us. By the way, Cass, did you notice on your overlay it says a little chaos above your name? Isn't that cool?
I saw that, and look at my glasses are broken, so I look all chaotic tonight.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Your glasses are as crooked as the chaos on your overlay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
So it lines up.
My mind's a little crooked, so I think I'm actually seeing more clearly.
There you go. All right, so I had some initial thoughts on last night's episode. Sorry. I think Carolyn is going to go to the final 3 because, one, she isn't going to lose immunity challenges, but if she does, they're not going to vote for her anyway. I mean, they're not going to vote her out because they got bigger targets. And she has an idol, and we're already down to what, 7 or 6? We're down to 6. And she has an idol. So I think she has a pretty clear shot to the final 3 myself.
I see her playing the idol. I don't see her winning another one.
Another idol or like
another. I mean, unless Mike. Oh, I can't decide what's going to happen. Are they going to give Mike an idol? I think they're going to give Mike an idol.
Right.
Because there's 2 more times you can use an idol this season.
Right. And for those of you out there who think we actually really think they're going to hand him an idol, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that the cameramen are going to conveniently camp out by a tree, and every time Mike goes by, they're going to shine the camera in the tree. That's what we mean.
So they're going to come to the camp and say, that's a nice chair, Mike. Do you like chairs? We like chairs. See those 3 chairs by the tree over there? We're going to go sit in those chairs with our camera until you come over there and do the happy dance.
Yes.
Or they'll say, remember where you found that last idol? Would that be crazy if another one was hidden there?
Yeah. Yeah. During one of his
We've never done that before, except to every alpha male we love.
Yeah. Oh, here's the famous Malcolm spot. Just go ahead and go to that one.
Remember when Malcolm was here, Mike? He found an idol right there.
All right. I do have another initial thought.
Let me give one of mine because it counters yours. My initial thought was that Carolyn jumped too soon because I don't think Tyler was. He might have been a strategic threat or a social threat, but I don't think he was necessarily a challenge threat to her. But I think she moved one move too early, and she's going to have to play the idol next week. I don't think she's going to win either. I don't see her making the final 3. In fact, I see her going at it maybe 4.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's my prediction on that. That was an initial reaction. It's funny because it was the opposite of what you just thought. So that's good.
Well, yeah, I think the 2 bigger threats to win right now are Rodney and Mike.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think Rodney has a good chance.
I think, I watched the Ponderosa stuff, and everybody there likes Rodney, no matter what his comments have been. He's kind of like Tony. He's like this kind of offensive, but it's acceptable offensive because of who he is and where he comes from thing.
Right.
So, and he's not mean-spirited. He's just that guy. He's just, he's just a Jersey Shore-ish guy.
He's that guy, but that's my second initial reaction was I felt like we were seeing the demise of his game last night because I didn't feel like, well, not so much that, it's that what plan of his has ever worked? Every time he comes up with a plan to get out Mike, nope, that didn't work. To fool Mike, that didn't work. To keep Joaquin and have a bromance and go to the end, that didn't work. What plan of his has worked? I think Rodney is a very social guy, and that's probably his point. He probably does have friends on the jury, but I still think he's going to have to sell to them. I think there's enough fans on there that want to see somebody win that did something. And if Dan presents a case that Rodney did nothing and Rodney can't counter it, then I think it improves Dan's chances. I felt like last night we were seeing the Rodney's game was losing strategic points. He still got social points, but I just felt like we were seeing a little less of Rodney last night.
Yeah, I didn't like the whole birthday stuff, and I don't care if it was an act or not. There was some truth in it,
oh yeah, no. The only time it became an act was when everybody came back. He was whining about his birthday.
Yeah.
He was absolutely whining.
Because he was doing that by himself, right?
Yeah. All right, I have one more. Go ahead, Cass.
Oh, he definitely took a negative turn last night, Yeah. But he and Mike have been the rivals. I think they're trying to set him up. Like every season, there's supposed to be kind of a couple people who are rivals, and we don't really have that. It's like everyone against Mike, so they're kind of throughout the season they've shown Rodney and Mike fighting over firewood or food or whatever. So that's the only thing they have to work with and hype it up kind of so we don't look like we're getting a pagonging type situation.
I completely agree. I think the finale promo is going to be Mike versus Rodney. for the whole finale episode, because the Mike versus Tyler lasted, what, 2 episodes? And that's gone. So
Well,
I think it's going to be Mike versus Rodney for the end.
I think you're right. And how horrible will it be if next week Mike or Rodney go? Because the finale then is just everyone against Mike,
Right.
or those 4 that really people are not loving.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well-
I keep forgetting Sierra's there. Oh,
So did
We don't
they.
hear her that much. Yeah.
I kid you not. We were watching it. I think it was last week, and she was on and speaking for the first time. And my husband said, "Who is that? Where did she come from?" And I was like, "Oh God."
That's great.
And he's the ultimate casual fan. Just watches it, goes to bed, doesn't care.
Right.
She's a producer that got caught on film. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's the camera lady. Just don't worry about her.
Yeah.
He's like, "No, really, who is she?" And she's been there the whole time.
She's the idol hider, and she's talking to Mike.
And we haven't talked about her this whole time.
No.
So.
And we probably won't talk about her that much tonight either. Like the rest of the show. One thing about Rodney, though, is like you were saying, Cass, I think people enjoy his company in that he's funny, and he provides laughter around camp, and that goes a long way. You know, how well you got along with people goes a long way, doesn't it, Cass?
I might have learned that lesson.
Yeah, you might have.
I'm working on my impressions. No, they won't be taken the same from me. So he does. He gets along with everybody. He's not offensive. And if you look at his voting history, he just looks like a guy who's trying to do stuff but is not successful. And he can be like, at the end, "Hey, I tried what I tried, but listen to my impression of you."
Yeah.
And then people will vote for him.
That's right.
So
That would be awesome if he did an impression of every jury member coming up with why they would vote for Rodney. That would be awesome.
What if he was a total first grader and just mocked their question? Like if someone said, "Why'd you vote me out?" He'd be like, "Why'd you vote me out, you mean?" That would be awesome. Like if his response was just to totally repeat what they said in their impression, that is gold. I would give him my vote if he did that.
See, that's what I mean. It's not always about gameplay.
It's not, because those bitter people are stewing, and they just want to screw the person who voted them out.
Yep. That's right. That's right. All right, I do have one more initial thought, and it's in the form of a poem. All right, so everybody we are now at a poem reading. Big sweaty man hugs by a fire at night. My face in your pit, our alliance is tight. You wrote my name on the parchment last night, but I'm still okay because you hugged me tonight. The Dan and Will awkward hug of the night back at camp.
I had to rewind that scene to hear what they said because I just went, "Ooh," when they hugged.
Are you nibbling on Will's ear? What are you doing there, Dan?
Oh, man.
And then Dan got like really serious. As God is my witness, we are going all the way.
So what did you think about that statement? I mean, that was pretty. I mean, obviously his intensity in saying it, but it was almost like all you edit readers. I mean, is that telling you what's going to come to the end? Is that those two are going to be in the end with somebody?
No.
No, Dan has been mocked this whole time, like by the editing crew.
Yes.
Right.
So that tells me Will is going to turn on Dan, is what that tells me.
Yeah, probably. So.
Oh.
Crud! I had a thought.
Uh-oh.
Concentrate.
Now it's gone. I'm sorry, the thought is now gone.
Cannot be completed at this time.
My thought went away. I don't know where it went. Oh, man.
You're the one who's drugged up, so you know.
I know. All right. Previously on, they did a little bit of creative editing. They moved things out of order, but I don't really care about that. Y'all have anything about that, or let's get to the show?
Get to the show.
All right. Dan is not happy on night 29, as we just now discussed. And I love Will. Every time Will spoke this episode was like, "Come on, man, let's not do this," or "It doesn't matter." That's about all he said the whole episode. Talking to Dan.
I really wanted to hear the reasoning behind the vote, and I'm still not sure I bought it. All I heard was we had to write down a name to force a split or force a tie, and what they weren't saying was to save Tyler.
Right.
And we never heard that, but I'm still trying to understand what the plan was behind writing down Dan, because if you can't vote Mike or Shireen, then you got to vote somebody. You know.
Well, Tyler's not going to vote for himself.
I know. I have to write down a name. Well, then you write down Mike or you write down Shireen, like the plan.
Yeah.
Well, so that I didn't.
Well, as Tyler said, Dan is anything but trustworthy, which makes him gullible, and he believed it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would have written down Tyler myself, but just for fun. But no, I mean, it's.
If you were who?
If I were
Because
Kass.
Tyler. Okay. Well, I know, but I mean,
No.
but Tyler's not going to write his own name down. So, are you saying if you were Will, you would have written down Tyler?
Well, I don't know what Will and Tyler have going on. After seeing this, I feel like the 4, you have that 6, but you also have this 4.
Right.
And I didn't realize until last night that Tyler was in that 4 more so than Dan. You would assume that Dan was because Dan and Rodney.
Right.
And I might, maybe because he didn't share the advantage with anyone, or maybe Tyler went and told Rodney and Carolyn and Will about the advantage that he found in the bag. Maybe more people know about the advantage than we know. And they kept Dan out of that loop, and because Dan didn't share that with his allies,
Right.
maybe they feel like they don't trust him. Like, why don't you tell me what the advantage is if we're so tight?
Yeah, they were talking about that foursome last week on the reward, and I think once Dan won that advantage, he became number 6 automatically. Whether we heard that from Tyler or Carolyn, I just think that automatically made him number 6. You don't want the person with the advantage. So,
Right.
I also thought last week that Tyler told everybody we're still voting Mike and Shireen. He's not going to play it. It's going to be a bluff. We vote Mike and Shireen, and Dan was all for that because Dan agreed. He's going to bluff it. He even said he's never going to play it. It was going to be a bluff. I told you it was going to be a bluff. And at the last minute, Tyler pulled Will back and said, hey, just in case, we need to force a tie so that if he doesn't play it, we don't get 2 votes. We'll get Mike and Shireen's votes against you or I. So let you and I vote Dan and go from there.
Yeah, and it's a good way to pull Will in because Will might be feeling on the outs to say, how about me and you do this? So, yeah, I mean, I think it was, I loved that play last week. I loved
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Mike doing that. I loved him not playing it for Shireen because Mike's playing to win, not to get him and his buddy there.
Right.
So I was impressed with that move.
And I like that Shireen liked that he didn't play it on her.
Right,
Shireen wasn't like, he should have played it on me. We're supposed to be buds. No, she's like, no, that's the way he needs to play the game. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, he got 4 jury votes right there. He
Absolutely.
got the 4 people there. If he makes it to the end, he's got their votes.
Yep.
So if we learn anything from being back at camp, and I don't know why, I guess Dan did realize it, but boy, he and Will sure were connecting there. He's the bottom of the 6, and that's what Mike was trying to tell him. You're the bottom of the 6, and I'm going to show it to you, and that's exactly what happened. He is the bottom of the 6.
I think Dan just wants honesty. He wants in-your-face honesty, loyalty, trust, and he lost it with Mike. He feels like that's broken. And all of a sudden, Will, who put his name down, comes right up to him and says, I put your name down. I was one of them. He just admits it, confronts it, and Dan's willing to forgive and forget at that point. Right. He just wants honesty. Yeah. He wants somebody to come to his face and tell him the truth. There's so much behind your back work, he wants someone to tell him. And Will did the right thing.
Well, and this is where Tyler made some mistakes in the game by not being able to think on his feet when people confronted him.
Right.
So, just come out. They know the truth's going to come out. There's so few people, and you're so raw at this stage of the game. What are we? We're 30 days in, maybe?
Yes.
You're, at this point, I think anything beyond day 25, the people are just at their primal worst and so sensitive to everything. So you really have to take that into account. There's a breaking point out there, and everyone's past it at this point of the game.
Right.
And then you're so close to the end that you're just freaking out.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do at this stage, if you're not going to just be a rabble-rouser and make people start speaking in tongues, is to kind of step back and think about what everyone else is thinking. I'm learning. I'm reading some books on this stuff.
Yeah. Well, don't read Max's.
Look what Holly Hoffman sent me.
Oh, awesome.
Wow.
Wait a second. Let me put your face so it stays up. Show that again. Okay, now raise it. Own your power, your attitude, and your life, and then you go up and it says your winner.
Your winner within.
I like that. That's cool.
By Holly, and she signed it to Kass, believe, which is funny. That's our motto for the reindeer business, which is a total sham. So hey.
Wait.
Hey, there might be kids listening here.
I mean, yeah, because kids should be up right now listening to this.
Well, they downloaded it later. See, and they listened to it with their parents. All right. Well, the last thing about that night, Tyler said it is my favorite line of the episode. I don't know if I can call Dan extremely gullible. I just call him extremely. Oops, I can't read my own writing. Extremely loyal. And in this game, they're kind of one and the same. And he's right.
Yep.
Hey guys, this is Jennifer, and I just wanted to steal a moment during my favorite podcast to remind you to use D&D's Amazon link when you shop at Amazon. Not only do you get everything you need at Amazon, you're also helping D&D continue their great podcasts. So always use www.stwdd.com/Amazon when you start your shopping. Or make it even easier and just use their links on their website and the D&D Facebook group. That's all I wanted to say. Now back to more D&D.
All right, day 30. It's Rodney's birthday, and Will decides to give him a little taste of home. It's your birthday! I'm Rodney, I'm going, do that to somebody else, please. Oh, man. I guarantee you that Rodney's mom, even to this day, makes a big deal about his birthday. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I guarantee you that when it's his birthday, he is pampered beyond what he's already pampered. Am I wrong?
I cannot disagree with you.
I think it's a very special day in his life. He might sing at gas stations on his birthday.
He might. It's my birthday. How many times did we hear the phrase or the word birthday in tonight's episode?
I lost count because I was taking a shot every time I heard it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, if you got a point for every time he said it, you'd probably catch me in the D&D challenge.
Yes. Goodness gracious. And
well,
boy, go ahead.
On our season, Spencer, when we were on Brains Tribe, told us it was his birthday. And it was, I think, the day after or soon after we voted Garrett out, and he was all mopey. And one day he said, it's my birthday, and this is the worst birthday ever. And me and Tasha and Jatia were like, that's too bad. That was it.
No empathy at all.
And then come to find out it wasn't his birthday anyway.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we were like, sorry to hear that, Spencer. Like, yeah. And he was telling us he was turning 21, and I was like, well, you should be in Vegas instead of out here,
Yeah.
But everybody was like, sorry to hear that. We didn't sing to him. We didn't make him a rice cake. Nothing. We were like,
go over there and wash the dishes. It's your turn. Yeah.
Yeah, like he ever washed a dish.
Yeah.
But
hey, I turned a year older today also.
Did you?
Tomorrow. I'll turn a year older tomorrow too.
Oh.
In other words, every day we turn a year older. Shut up and go wash the dishes.
Right.
But anyway.
I'm pretty sure Rodney never washed a dish out there in Survivor till his birthday, and he just did it so he could be like, I'm doing dishes on my birthday.
Yes,
he could kick a dish. Was he kicking the dishes or kicking the water?
He was kicking the dishes, too.
He kept his pants on when he was washing the dishes.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, did we lose Dwayne? There he is.
Oh. So.
Oh, he told us to hang out because if his internet goes out, we're just going to keep talking.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, he's all frozen on there.
But I didn't write a whole lot of notes for this one. The only thing I wrote was at the end when Rodney starts talking about getting the reward because Will's going to give him his reward, and I guess he's expecting Carolyn to give him his. I thought, okay, 1, Will's not going to win because I believe Will. 2, Rodney's not going to win the reward, and Carolyn is, and she's going to keep it. So it just. And then I started remembering the promo for this week, where he said, y'all are a bunch of fakes, can't believe anybody, and it's almost kind of spoiled the reward challenge.
Well, what happens out there when you start you don't know if it's going to be an individual thing at this stage where you get to pick people. And when you get down to 7 or 8, you think it could be the family reward, right?
Right.
Where your family comes in. So you start making deals with people. Like, hey, we're the parents, we're the married people. Let's all bring our spouses or our kids or.
Yeah.
So maybe that was.
When did you have family in yours? What number were y'all at when you had family?
We were at 4, remember?
Oh, okay.
And it was day 37. It was the latest they've ever had it.
Wow. Oh, that's right. That's right.
And they got to come watch they brought us peanut butter and jelly and then hung out and saw our camp and then watched us do the Final Four immunity challenge. That was the one I won with my husband there. So.
Where you were still on the pole while they were doing the puzzles.
For like 20 minutes. Yeah. I have that puzzle at my house. Signed by Jeff Probst. So, but you get to this stage where you feel like the family visit's coming, and it usually happens between 6 and 8, right? So you start thinking that's a big goal out there when you're out there is to make the merge, make the jury, and then the next step is to make the family visit.
Right.
So at this stage you're talking, and when you go to those rewards, you're like, this might be the family visit. So you're really making deals with people like, I'll bring you because you haven't had a reward, or who's visiting. If it's your second cousin, sorry, I'm not taking you. I'm going to take the person who's married or the person whose mom's coming or whatever. So that might have been what happened prior to this reward, where they were thinking, we're final 7. It could be the family.
Yeah. I'm glad that Sierra actually pointed that out after the challenge. She said we had talked about it being a solo person victory. If they won, Rodney would be one of the people picked. So I'm glad she said that. It was, I completely forgot about that it could be a single person reward challenge. So that was
Did y'all just carry on without me?
Yes, we did.
And it very well could have been a family visit at that point. So I can see why he would be mad, because you don't know. Like, sometimes the people at camp who don't win don't even know it was a family thing.
That's true.
So I could see that. But when they brought out the orphanage stuff and the bikes and stuff, I'm glad Carolyn wouldn't give it up, because that's a big one for a mom to go on. That's the only reward I won on my season.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one of the days I had tears in my eyes going to the school, and one of those very out of Survivor moments. Probably one of the better rewards that you'll ever go on Survivor, because you get to get out of the game for real. When you go out on a boat and just eat cheeseburgers or whatever, you're not really out of the game. But when you go somewhere like that and you're interacting with kids and just like removed from the game, and remember there's a life outside the game, it's a great moment, and it's a great time to just reflect.
I remember it was you and Wu and Spencer that got to go. To me, when y'all sat down to eat, it was almost like you breathed for the first time in about 30 days. I mean, you did talk about the game, but still you stopped and you just took a breath, and you had a very next door neighbor conversation. It seemed very relaxed and very calm, and like you said, that whole day put y'all in the mood just to relax and talk about possibilities, talk about the game. And I agree. I could see where that would take you out of the game for a few minutes to allow you to have those moments.
So I think, Carolyn not giving it up to Rodney, I think it was selfish of Rodney to think that a parent and a mom especially would give it up for his birthday. I mean, he kind of would probably be like, I don't see Rodney as a big pro-kid type person. I mean, it was discovered on, what's it called? What's that one? Tinder? No. Yeah, he was
trying out for Hero, I think.
Oh, was he? I thought he was found on Tinder.
Oh.
Which I can only imagine Rodney on Tinder. But yeah, and who would give up a reward? I hated last season when people were like, no, you go, no, you go, no, you go. No, I'm going. But I was like Rodney. I didn't go on any rewards for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then Probst, welcome back.
Hi, Dwayne. Hey, Dwayne.
And then Probst tries to instigate stuff, tries to stir stuff up.
No way.
Since when in the last 29 seasons has Probst said, so would any of y'all like to give up your reward? He doesn't do that, but he did tonight or last night.
Now, one thing, what I didn't like about this reward is, and it's happened one season before where they did this, where the person that doesn't get picked, I don't mind that, but I like it when they let that person choose who's going to win. They get to pick a team to root for, and they get to go. Yeah, they're not going to compete, but let them pick a team to win and root for them. Because in that case, Will, if he thinks about it, he picks Mike, Carolyn, and Sierra. If they win, he gives Rodney his spot. If they lose, then Rodney gets to go because he wins. So Rodney gets to go either way. Even if it wasn't Will and Rodney in this whole season, I still wish that person that has to sit out, who doesn't even get a chance to compete, because all they're going to do during the reward challenge is think about food, they get to choose, I'm going to pull for Team A. If they win, I get to go with it.
Right.
Yeah, but with this crew, I mean, I think at this stage of this current production, maybe the producers were just sick of some of these people, and they knew it was probably going to be Dan or Will sitting out. Yeah. So they said, let's not even give them the option, because we're tired of them, and we don't want to give them two people who would never legitimately lose or win a challenge on their own. Why should we let them have the opportunity to go on one?
Then if it's an odd number, then do an endurance challenge where everybody competes. Do the team challenges on the even numbers.
But then Will and Dan are out anyway.
Yeah.
So he didn't really miss out on anything.
True.
Because he was never going to win.
Right.
So do you think they're trying to instigate drama by having somebody?
Oh, man, I'm trying to be nicer now, and I just ruined it. But,
No.
Yeah, you're going to last about 5 days on the new season there, Kass.
I got to go back to my highlighted version of my book, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yes. So did y'all talk about how they manipulated...
We're at the tribal council now.
Did you talk about how they manipulated the whole maypole thing?
Nope. We're getting ready to get there when you showed back up. So we're at the challenge now.
No, we're talking about the reward.
No, we were talking about the reward for a while. It was a great conversation. It was great.
Well, that's fine.
Do it later.
But I noticed, like, if you watch the challenge preview, they did the maypole where all three of them were all moving around, and the idea was that all three cloths get taken off the pole. But both teams figured out, I'm just going to do this one and then do that one, and the ring was on the second one. So it worked out great.
It seemed kind of like a lazy weave. Why couldn't they have woven that a little bit better?
I think it was hot out there. And the Dream Teamers were like, screw this.
Yeah. Rodney had a lot of Rodney prematurely climbed the ladder. He prematurely dropped the bag of balls.
He seems like Rodney strikes me as a premature type of man.
There you go.
We went back just to see where he dropped them. I said I can't believe he did that. I got to go back and find where he dropped them, because they threw him over or threw him through, and then on his way to the net, drop. You could see it drop, and then he just goes right into
I can get through this easier if I don't have these.
Yeah.
It's my birthday. Why do I have to carry this?
Why am I carrying these?
If it's not a present, I don't want it.
That's right.
Yeah. He should have charged through saying, I've got the balls! I've got the balls!
Nah,
that would have
you
been
go.
awesome.
Yes. Yes. You deserve applause for that one.
Oh, just to correct, Mateo said that Joaquin was the one found on Tinder. He was the one. So you were right about Tinder. Somebody was found on Tinder. It was Joaquin.
Yeah. So in this case, Mike not allowing Sierra or Carolyn to jump on the board was actually probably the smart thing to do, because as Probst said, there's a learning curve to that.
Mm-hmm.
So you say, okay, Sierra, you do it. Well, her first 3 shots are wasted as she's learning it. So really, I think he was. Now, if he had lost, it would have been all over him. But I think he made the right decision.
But if he had lost, he's already on the outs.
Kass does not agree with me, so let's go. Here we go.
Well, no, I think it was showing us how Mike is again and again. They've shoved it in our face so many times. How, on the barrel thing where he was like alone out there doing all his inchworm stuff. This is who Mike is. He needs to be in control and in charge. And if no one's going to stand up to him and say, get off the platform, get off the barrels, whatever, he is literally steamrolling his way through this whole season.
Right.
And there is no one standing up to him. I mean, even Carolyn flipped to him last night. I
guess you could say he's barrel rolling his way through.
He is barrel rolling. Yes. He is. He is gonna. The metaphors are there, right?
Yes, they're all there.
Did he carry the bag of balls? If he carried the bag of balls through that thing, we know who our winner is.
There you go.
right?
Yeah.
Now I don't remember. Now I'm wondering.
I'm wondering now too. Like, someone please check that. Who's live?
Somebody watching on YouTube or whatever,
or in the chat room,
right in YouTube or on the chat room or on Twitter #STWDD. Who is carrying the balls for the red team?
Because he was over the fence first with them, so I bet he kept them. He got down to be the step, and then I bet he kept them going through.
All right, here's my winner prediction.
Here we go.
If he carried the balls through the net, he's our winner. Because Rodney dropped the balls, and we have our man competition.
Yep.
Yes.
So, and he had to go back and pick up his balls.
But it was too late.
It was too late. Once you drop your sack, it's over.
They had already dropped. Cass, you're not allowed to drink next time you come on the show.
I'm talking about challenges. Where's your mind?
Yes.
No, I'm holding myself together pretty well over here.
No.
So.
But really, seriously, if I were an editor, I'd be laughing at that one.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, they made a point to show it to us. Yes.
Cass, we have a request. You remember Will the Giant Ninja and how he had a major lawyer crush on you? Well, it
happens a lot.
Yeah, he has made a request.
Oh, dear.
Cass, we can't see your shirt, so he wants to see your shirt. There you go. Survivor Talk. Excellent shirt. Excellent shirt.
At least I got to keep it on. I'm surprised he didn't say, take it off and show us.
Yeah. He'd be like, put it on Jeff. Put it on Jeff behind you. All right. Anything else about the reward?
We covered that well.
Yeah, I know. You covered it while my internet was dead.
I think that's good. That's the best challenge ever, too. I hope they do that every season, because some seasons they don't go do their goodwill thing.
Yeah.
So Mike Holloway says, pretty good with balls. So there you go. I guess Mike Holloway is letting us know his talents.
Wait, does that mean he carried the sack through?
Oh, yeah, Mike, since you're listening and watching, did you carry the ball sack through the net?
Or did you let a woman carry it for you?
Okay, we're going to move on. We are going to move on. Gosh. All right.
I'm sure Mike. I don't think the girls carried it through. Because Mike, actually, he got down and let the girls
yes.
step on him to get in.
Yeah.
Yep, he was the Mike ladder.
I can imagine a scenario where he would, because he got them from the wood.
Yep.
Well, no, but he dropped. All right, shut up. He dropped them, so one of the girls may have picked them up.
Then he got on his knees, and
it's time to bring up Chaos Kass. Just take things up.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, guys.
Were you gonna say something else that I was gonna have to? Were you gonna say something else? Okay, let's move on. Later that night, we're having too much fun.
Okay.
Rodney trying to sell his "I want to go home" thing. Oh wait, no, did I get the back at camp? Oh yeah, we forgot the whole back at camp. How about the hornet's nest when we come back?
Very well timed. Yes. As soon as they all took off, here comes Rodney kicking cans and pans and everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, I should have got a soundbite of somebody whining and played it tonight. But
she's got it. Yeah. She's got the soundbite.
I got it right there.
It's my birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah. What in the world did Rodney say that Dan said, even for me, that was a bit much? I'm sorry, we just had episodes full of horrible things, and I didn't hear anything that Rodney said that was worthy of that. Didn't
Dan call Rodney's mom a whore or something?
Yeah, he did. Now, he was goofing around, but yeah, he did.
No, I mean, but so what could be more offensive than that? What offends Dan? Let's talk about what would offend Dan. Like, if you said something about the Postal Service?
If you lied to him. If
dishonesty.
Tell him the truth.
Exactly, I agree. That's what
offend him.
If I ever got on with Dan, this is what I would do.
quietly nod.
If I was ever playing Survivor with Dan, I'd be like, I can't disagree with you. I agree. I really can't.
And then
I
I'd
agree
be
with every single thing you are saying.
And then you turn to the camera and say, however.
Yes.
I'd be
All
like,
right.
postage stamps should go up so technicians are paid more.
Yes. Mike Holloway says, it's my man purse. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yes, Mateo looked it up and he said Mike was carrying the bag.
Yes.
Oh my
it is
God.
right here. Mike carried it. He's your winner. Right there.
Under the Chaos Kass ball carrying theory,
Yes.
Mike is officially our winner.
Well,
he
good,
carried.
which means the
You
other
heard it here
guys,
first.
That's right. We heard it here first.
Which means number 11 will get to go.
Or someone else will say, "Hey, I have a theory," and not tell everybody they heard it on us on our show.
Oh.
No, that won't happen. But even if it does, who cares? Rodney, let's see. Rodney tries to. Oh wait, Rodney to Tyler. Why would he play? This was funny. Why would he play the idol? And Tyler's goes, because it's Survivor. Hello.
Okay, I wrote this. These were my favorite lines. And I may have missed a few words. Rodney says, "Why would Mike play his idol if I'm ready to go?" Tyler said, "Because it's Survivor and people have to anticipate crazy." Rodney says, "But how crazy is that thought?" Tyler says, "It is crazy." So 3 crazies in 3 sentences in a row.
Yeah.
That's got to be a first time on Survivor. But it's like Tyler's having one leveled conversation and Rodney's having a disoriented conversation.
Yeah.
And it's just, and they're not talking on the same level because they're not. To me, this is where Rodney's just shooting. He don't know where the target is, but he's shooting over the fence. The target's somewhere over the fence, and he's shooting. So he's trying, but he has no idea where the target is.
All right. So let me ask you, talking about Rodney trying this whole thing and missing the target, should Mike, instead of calling Rodney out and basically saying, "I'm not going to write your name down. You're perfect to take to the end," should he have acted like he was falling for it and then manipulated the vote?
Well, good question. I think if he'd gone that route, then he would have flipped on everybody he was trying to work with. Instead, he was being honest.
Kass agrees with you, I think.
No, I mean, I like your question, but I think Mike has to start rebuilding some form of relationship just in case he doesn't win. He's got to build some form of trust with somebody, maybe Carolyn and Sierra. But if they, I vote you out. I'm not going to vote you. I mean, that was an honest answer.
Right.
Because he basically said, "I don't buy it. I'm going to play my idol." But if he plays up to it like, "Wow, we should vote him out if he wants to go," and then somebody goes back and says, "Hey, he's buying it," and then he's lied to the people that he was talking to. Yeah. So I think what he did was the right way to play it.
I think it was the right way to play it, and I think now Mike can go. I'm all nervous because I know Mike is listening, and I've been discussing his ball.
Don't worry about it.
So no, but the reason I think it was inappropriate. So the reason I think it was good is Mike has always left that door open for the blue collars, and he hasn't burned. He has not personally burned a blue collar. So if he tells Rodney, "Dude, I'm with you. We're straight up. We're blue. We're whatever he's saying, blue to the end or true blue or whatever." He hasn't gone against Dan, and he hasn't gone against Rodney actively. So if either of them end up on the jury and Mike makes it to the end, they're going to vote for him because he can just go there and be like, "I never screwed you guys, and I tried to work with you." And he opens that door for potentially if Dan has that light bulb moment where he's like, "Oh my God, nobody likes me. I'm on the bottom."
Mm-hmm.
That he can go and reform that blue collar alliance, and those would be 2 perfect guys for him to take to the end because he would beat Rodney or Dan. So if he could get them back in his corner at 6, Carolyn plays her idol to get out Will, and let's not forget Sierra. Though we seem to, but he can pull Sierra back in too because I don't think Sierra dislikes Mike at this point. They're the 2 tallest people out there, so they could have a bond.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, Mike has not voted against Dan. Like you said, Mike only showed his true colors and that he tried to get the advantage over them. He ended up rescinding that. He did not go for it, and he has yet to vote for a blue-collar person. Exactly. And instead, he actually linked up with Shireen and Jen, which could have possibly helped the blue collars get rid of the 2 challenge threats in Tyler and Carolyn.
And then he gets rid of Tyler. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're right. He has not flipped on the blue.
He's still true to blue. Yeah. So if he stacks that jury with the no callers, which he's got, Shireen, Tyler, I think he earned the respect of because I think Tyler's a gamer.
Yeah.
So anyone else he sends there, he can totally say, I tried to work with you, except Will. But Will is the ultimate GOAT to me. Right. Just his edit and everything. There's just no way Will is winning this game.
Do you get the idea, speaking of Will being the ultimate GOAT, do you get the idea that Probst's final statement last night was a way of saying, would you please get rid of these people? Because he basically, let's see if I actually wrote it down.
Yeah, because he wants a fight for the Final Four. He doesn't want one or two people winning it without a real challenge going with them.
Wrote, well, if there's one thing that should be most concerning, it is the admission that everybody wants to take the weakest to the end. Translation, stop playing that way.
Well, wow, we're season 30 and Jeff finally has caught on. Yeah. Hey, Jeff.
Be careful what you say, Cass. Because
really?
Even though they say it's all the votes, don't believe it. It's who they want on the show next season.
I don't give a shit, man.
Oh.
I mean, a crap. A poop.
There you go.
I don't give a...
I'm just playing around.
No, Jeff has never been in love with me. He didn't want me on his show to begin with, and
right.
So.
But somehow you found yourself amongst 32 people on a ballot to get on another season.
Yeah, I cannot imagine you not getting on next season. I mean, seriously, because you bring something to the table that the others do not bring. Assuming that you're going to play the same way you played last time, which you may or may not. I don't know.
I would not assume that anyone who has played and lost would play the same way they played the prior time. That's a dumb assumption, right?
Right.
Yes, I made a
It didn't work the first time. No, not you, but I'm just saying people who say that, like...
But there's a certain expectation that you are going to behave a certain way, so... Anyway.
So Cass walks out.
Let's go back to this season.
I'm completely loyal this season. So.
Go ahead, Cass. Let's go back to the season. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's stick with the recap. I don't want to detract from the current season because I know how it is to be on and be all excited about your season.
Right.
So.
Okay, I do like what Mike said. Just because I talk slow don't mean I am slow. I thought that was kind of funny. But, all right. Did you notice Carolyn's not offering the idol? Now,
yeah, I wanted to get to that next. I like that a lot because Tyler basically says, okay, so we're about to be in a pickle, you and me. So you and me, we got to work something out. You and me, we got to fix this. And I love Carolyn's response. Well, you got to win immunity. Yeah, that's true. And we got to use it when we need it, which means I'm going to use it when I need it.
Right.
Yeah.
And in his exit interview that I had with him today, he told me that she didn't bring the idol before, whenever he was in danger, because he had kind of looked at her like, she goes, I don't have it. And he was like, why don't you have it? So he told me that he knew then that she was playing for herself, which is why he says in this episode, you got to start bringing your idol to tribal councils,
Yes.
So.
Right there.
Anyway.
Come here and say hi, sir. Just come here, Mike.
Oh, your daughter, yay. Hello.
Say hi.
Hi.
All right.
Hello.
The sound.
Oh, you can't hear. I have headphones.
Oh.
Can you close the door when you go potty? Sorry.
Who are those handsome guys on your TV screen, Mommy?
Where's the dogs? We want to see the dogs.
Exactly. She just wants to see dogs.
Why are you always chatting with men on the computer, Mommy?
Because I'm suing them.
Yeah, I'm suing them.
Because I'm on Tinder.
That's right. Yes. All right, day 32, immunity challenge. This is a doozy of an immunity challenge that the producers went, all right, so what can we do where we make sure Dan and Will don't win? And here you go.
And let's do something original.
Yeah. Well, I don't particularly mind them doing challenges that they've already done, as long as they're good challenges. They could never do the coconut bowling again, and I'd be happy.
By the way, please name a challenge that Dan or Will could win that we've ever seen on Survivor.
a cheeseburger eating. Oh, that we've seen on Survivor.
That's the one.
An eating challenge. That's
What
the
about
only,
bug?
just like
Yeah,
Cochran.
bug
That's
eating.
what Cochran won, the eating challenge.
Well, or remember that one where they had to run up and eat like a pig carcass or something and
Yeah.
run back?
That was on
If
South
it were
Pacific.
individual, yeah. If it were individual, maybe that one.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Who can drag the pig carcass with their teeth across the line?
gosh, y'all are wow. Well, okay. Anyway.
Well,
no,
you knew it was going to be
that
short
was
time.
actually a challenge at one point.
Yeah, but
Yes, it was.
you knew it was going to be short for Will when all they showed Will doing was looking where he was going to fall.
Yeah.
Well,
About all he was. Where's that pier? That pier? Okay. Where's the pier? Is it floating?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I clear of the pier? Because I'm going down.
Yeah.
they established Will a couple challenges back as the season's walrus/seal.
Yes. When he flopped over, the guy
So-
looked like a dead fish.
We can see that we're going for a large sea mammal theme there.
Yes. Yes. So, man, this was quick though, you know. And of course, it's day 32, and we're still talking about Rodney's birthday.
Hey, just to get a couple thoughts in the chat room has suggested shuffleboard, a juggling contest, or karaoke contest. That was Susan and Mike. Just to give Will and Dan a chance.
Karaoke, Will could do that. I don't know if they could win shuffleboard.
I was kind of surprised Sierra dropped out, and I was surprised that Tyler lasted longer than Mike. I was not surprised that Carolyn won.
I was not surprised that Carolyn won. She's pretty fit. This challenge is not for people with more body mass. I thought Rodney might win because he's not a big guy, really.
Yeah.
He's kind of petite in height,
Right.
and he has all the muscles up top. So
Right.
you would think, but I thought Mike might be able to win too because he has a very physical job in real life.
Right.
So his hands and his grip strength are probably good. So I thought, but he's probably, I never know how tall these people are because Jeff's so short and proportionally you don't really see him next to the bigger guys.
Right.
But I'm guessing Mike is over 6 feet tall, and that challenge is not made. Just like Sierra is very tall. A woman who's that tall, her upper body strength, she would have to be built more like a swimmer, you know, and she's not built like that.
Right.
So Carolyn, I thought Carolyn or Rodney, it was for one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Rodney's. It's been 30 days where he hasn't gotten a lot of food, so he's probably lost some muscle mass. He's definitely tired and weak, and I think he realized he wasn't going to do well, and then started to play up, you know, the storyline that he's going to act out as to he's just done. He's ready to be gone. So he was already starting to play up to his little charade. But at the same time, the last person that won this was what? Monica Culpepper, built very similar to Carolyn.
Yeah, and then Cochran won it with an advantage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because he got to go back up a notch.
He got an extra notch or something like that.
Yeah.
But the thing about Rodney and his whining is he was on the blue collars. They didn't lose a challenge for a while, right? So they were getting rewards and they were eating and they were getting benefits. I don't like it when someone who actually spent a couple weeks at the beginning of the game not truly suffering goes in and says, wee, 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 wee. You know, if you're a loser, you've lost consistently from the beginning. Trust me, I know this. So when you get to the merge, it's like the game resets, and then the people who were on the dominant tribe sometimes, oh, I haven't won a reward. Well, you got a free 15 to 18 days of no stress, which is a reward in and of itself. So it does irk me that he was so whiny about it.
Yeah, because I remember tallying up that after the shuffle, his tribe won when they sent the balls up in the air and they had to catch them with the net. So they won that little cookout thing. You know, he got to eat at the merge feast, all you can eat buffet.
Right.
So he hasn't starved himself for 30 days. Yeah, I completely agree.
And this was on our season, I know I was the losingest person for a long time, and I remember someone got mad at me because I said, this sucks. I haven't had anything. And they were counting from the merge. So when he was whining, it reminded me of that, and it really struck a chord with me. Like, you have gotten stuff. You've gotten your donuts and your tarps and your fishing stuff. So, yeah, I felt like he was a big whiner, personally. Yeah. But anyway, and then the auction. Did Rodney get anything at the auction? I can't remember.
Yeah, he got a steak, didn't he? Steak and like something, potatoes or something with it. He got a big steak.
Yeah, so shut up, big baby. You just had a steak.
Exactly.
It's your birthday, but you didn't. Yeah, he could have saved his money for the advantage. So that speaks to me.
I agree, completely agree. A couple of chat room folks caught us up on a few things. In Nicaragua, Jane outlasted Chase for that same challenge. Cochran won the challenge where he had to hold up a pole. I do think it was still a rope challenge because he had, like you said, an extra knot where he didn't have to go down.
Yeah, there was something.
Yeah, but it was a similar challenge, but he was like holding up weight instead of, I guess, holding himself on the thing. Dawn won the challenge over Brenda and Karamoan. Kim won over Cat in One World, and like I said, Monica over Tyson in Blood versus Water. So it's made for a certain type of body type. I was surprised that Tyler struggled, but then again, like everybody's saying about Mike being so upper body heavy, that, man, Tyson was really struggling. After being so good in the other challenge, I thought he would do better in this one. I guess he's best when he's just standing still looking pretty, where he's holding that thing on it, balancing the thing on his head, and that was the challenge that he won.
Well, that's because he's a kicker, right? Like in the NFL or whatever football league, he's a kicker, and if you kick, you're using your foot muscles. I don't know how you use foot muscles unless you're Baylor, like grabbing things with your toes. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
That was a freaky foot fetish challenge. So Jeff Probst revealing his secret.
Yeah.
Whatever. But, yeah, Tyler, I don't know. He's probably at least 6 feet tall, Tyler, right? Being in the football world.
Yeah, I would say taller than that, yeah.
So, yeah, that's a tough challenge for a bigger guy, I think. Yeah. I think it's for someone under like 5'6", 5'7" to win. A smaller person. I would never win it. You know me, I'd be out within 2 seconds or whatever.
Yeah, my first question was is there food coming out?
Yeah.
No? Okay, well, I'm done.
This one was so short they didn't even have time for food.
Yeah. Jeff's like put his hand up. Don't bring it.
Don't even bother. They're already falling off.
Well, this season on the endurance challenges, like that tippy toe one with the block, Spencer and Tasha on our season went an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And these guys went a half hour.
Yeah.
So, but I went 2.2 seconds. Jeff told me it was a new record for an endurance challenge.
Nice. Well, Dan might have beaten you. There's been a couple challenges where he tries to say start, but Dan falls off before he gets.
He beat me in that. He actually lasted longer than me in that one. He lasted like a minute or something.
Okay. All right.
Not that I want to take away from Dan's challenge prowess.
Well, no.
Or his social game. I know we're on par there. Actually, he and I are quite similar. That's creepy.
Well, have you heard? I don't know if you've been listening to us this season. Just act like you have. But it's funny whenever Dan goes to talk to women, he calls his brain and gets.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Yeah, don't know if you've heard that little. Yeah. Are y'all ready to get back at camp?
Let's go back to camp.
I really figured. See, I got up to go take a pain pill because I'm dying over here. I got a migraine in my mouth. It hurts so bad, and I thought for sure y'all'd already be at tribal council when I got back. And y'all were still talking about the challenge.
I was about to. Well, we also caught up. The chat room had a lot of great info that we caught up on, a lot of information that you just missed. You have to listen to it later. But we get back to camp, and Carolyn is weighing. Basically, all I wrote was that Carolyn weighs Dan or Tyler. So it's a Carolyn decision, I guess, for this time. Now, Cass? What were you thinking at this point? Who was going to go?
I thought Tyler. I would get rid of Tyler because he's the challenge threat.
Right.
To Carolyn. And at this point, you've got 7 people. You've got to get rid of someone who can beat you in a challenge. Carolyn is legitimately good in challenges, especially in comparison to the other people.
Right.
So, poor Dwayne.
Oh, yeah, I'm hurting pretty bad.
But is he really though? Because
wait, let me redo that, Dwayne. I'm sorry. Are you feeling okay?
What are you about to do?
No, I'm trying to be empathetic. I'm trying to work on my social game.
Yeah.
You guys are my experiment.
Yeah, but when you walked away, Dwayne, she looked at me and said, "However, I could really care less about the pain he's going through."
Yeah. The music in the podcast suddenly changed to more sinister. Brian Dennison on YouTube says, "I think Crystal Cox lost an endurance challenge in 1 second." I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, then Kass, maybe you didn't win that.
I don't know.
I will cede victory to the Olympian.
There you go.
I still think she should have kept him for one more round. But like you said, if it goes to puzzles, then he could be better at puzzles because I don't think we saw him do a puzzle.
So you think she should have gotten rid of Dan?
Yes.
No. Why would you get rid of Dan?
Why?
Get rid of the advantage.
Dan's not going to use the advantage correctly.
Remember what Jen said? The one good thing about Dan getting the advantage is he won't know how to use it.
Exactly. Yeah. I thought he would use it last night and vote Mike.
See,
I seriously, I was like, this is the first time we've had this advantage, and it's in the hands of a postal worker, and...
Oh, you're so bad.
Go back to the book, Kass. Go back to the book, page 1.
How to win friends.
Don't bring up occupations.
Don't make fun of their occupation. That's number 1.
So I haven't attacked the personal life.
So Dan says, my extra vote, I want to use it because it doesn't count with the idol, right? If he plays the idol, my extra vote is after the idol.
I want to make sure Mike's out because if he plays that idol, I have 2 votes against him.
Yeah.
That's.
Boy, that would have been hilarious.
I was secretly hoping that would happen.
Wow.
Just to complete the Dan story arc. That only would have happened if Dan is the ultimate GOAT, though.
Yeah.
True. See, I'm thinking that she's putting her faith in people she has not been aligned with since day 3. She's been with Tyler since day 3. I don't think he's. But she's going to be trusting 4 blue-collar people. She's got to pick out people from that group that she wants to work with. Yes, everybody wants to get rid of Mike, but she's the challenge threat now. She got rid of a challenge threat in Tyler. Now she's got the target on her back if Mike wins immunity. She's got the idol, but she's also got to remember to take it to tribal council. But still, I think she's made herself a huge target if she doesn't win immunity after she plays it.
I think she's going. Maybe she'll. Well, I think Mike keeps winning because if Mike doesn't win, he's gone.
Correct.
And
Probst likes this season, so
I know
Mike has to win.
Right. But after this episode, I don't see Rodney winning because of the crybaby stuff.
I agree. I think I stick with my preseason pick of Mike, but even now, I think the role he's on and the fact that he looks like he's only getting stronger, and the fact that he keeps eating, I think he's going to the end, and I think he's going to win. I've still got a crazy theory for Dan, but I just think it's going to be a Mike season.
I think even allowing him on the ballot is even more proof that he's going to win because they're trying to throw people off.
I think they should have put Mike, Rodney, and Carolyn on the ballot. You know, because if you would have put Mike and Rodney, because there's this rumor that there's a decoy or whatever, and Jeff's like, oh, that doesn't mean they didn't win. So it means Carolyn or Mike are a winner. And after last night, I don't think Carolyn can win because I think she's alienated too much of the jury. I know as the old lady how it rolls. Doesn't matter what you do and the moves you make, you're going to be an a-hole if you turn your back on anyone.
Right, because you're a woman.
So, well, whatever, or you're just a turd like me. But anyway.
I just remember, I think you were saying in the previous season, if a guy played this way, y'all think he was great. I play that way, and you think I'm a jerk. Yeah.
But I actually think Mike is playing the better game than Carolyn because he hasn't backstabbed anyone on the jury, and there's 5 on there. Yeah. So if he gets to the end, he wins. He's got 5 votes. It doesn't matter what he does from here on out.
Right.
He's got 5. And this is going to be a final 3.
Right. And he's genuinely nice. And he literally rescued Shireen from what she's calling a I don't remember what she called it, but and a verbal assault.
An attack, yeah.
So, Yeah. So I mean,
I don't want to go there, guys.
No, we're
not
we're
going
just
to.
talking about how she's going to vote for him and
how he's
campaign for him.
perceived.
Oh yeah, and she is actively telling Hallie and Jen that, and then Joe by default is going to fall in there. Tyler's going to get in and fall in with the majority because that's what we do socially.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm trying to decide who gets idled out by Carolyn now, because Carolyn has the idol. So I think either Rodney or Dan get idled out. No one's ever going to cast a vote against Will. He is our GOAT.
Yeah.
You know. So it's going to be either Mike goes out and then Rodney's going to win, or Rodney gets idled out by Carolyn. I keep forgetting Sierra. Where does Sierra fit in around here? Is she our next boot?
I don't know.
Or is she
no one's even paying attention to her.
It's horrible. I feel bad. I'm sorry, Sierra.
But she did
I'm
get
sure
to
you're a nice girl.
She got to play with
I think she's going to be the first out in the finale.
You know what? I think you're right.
I think it's going to come down to here, and I'll go into a little bit of my crazy thought right now. I still think Dan has an outside chance if he approaches the jury a certain way. And don't laugh until I finish. I think the crickets either. If he goes obviously with Will, and then everyone else gets struck by lightning. No. But anyway, if he goes with Will and he takes either Rodney or Sierra, but he goes to the jury, because like you said, it could be a popular vote. I know Sierra's got friends, but if I were him, I would say, look, you all got a crash course of me in 39 days, and I'm not good in 39 days. I don't have a filter on my mouth. I speak without thinking, and I didn't, he goes into an apology mode, which I think Russell could have done, but it still might not have saved Russell. But he's got to approach it with the sense that I made these moves. He's got to lay out his plan of what he did and challenge Sierra to come up with one move to match his moves. Because I'm sure he's made the moves, he's made decisions, but he's been with the vote every time around. He's always voted with the group. He's never turned on his alliance. But he's got to present his case in a way that shows he played the game and ask them to respect that. Not just the person that's still here that you like, but respect the fact that he played the game hard, he had enthusiasm, and he just did it the way he thought best to do. I mean, he does need to either apologize or clear the air about some things, but in the same sense, I still think he's got better cases than Will and possibly Sierra, and maybe even Rodney. Rodney was out here and he got through this game somehow by staying out of the way, and that was his game, whereas Dan was in the way. Dan was targeted several times, but he still survived.
This is a crazy theory, right? We're not supposed to take
crazy. The reason I say it's crazy is because I think Dan gets idled out next week.
Okay.
I think Carolyn plays it because Mike's talking about Dan voting for the women, and I think Carolyn's going to be talked into playing her idol, and Dan goes home in whatever place, 6th place, I guess, and then we go on to the finale with the other 5.
All right.
Yeah, I think
because I think
the only way. Yeah.
Sorry. Yes. Go ahead.
The only way Dan gets out is idled out. And maybe it's Mike who idles him out. Maybe Mike gets an idol at some point and idles him out. But why would you get rid of Dan? I mean, I think Dan and Will are obvious take him to the end people.
Mm-hmm.
So
I cannot disagree with you.
Maybe Dan doesn't get idled out till final 5. Maybe next week Mike wins and Sierra goes out.
I think if Mike is controlling the conversation, sorry, Dwayne, just this point. If Mike's controlling the conversation, it's anybody but Mike. That's all Mike cares about. And when Carolyn tells Mike, "Hey, do you want to know what Dan's advantage is?" Then they play it against Dan and get rid of him. The numbers are getting too low to keep that extra vote in the game.
What if Mike finds out from Carolyn, because now they're buddy-buddy, they got rid of Tyler, right? Mm-hmm. So what if Carolyn now is trusting Mike and says, Dan's advantage is this.
Yes.
Because Carolyn is now in bed with Mike, whether she likes it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
She's the first flipper.
She's flipped. So what she's going to do now is go back and tell Mike, I know Dan's advantage. We need to get rid of him.
Right.
So Mike wins immunity because Carolyn doesn't want to take Mike either, and Mike's smart enough to know that because she wants to get rid of the challenge threats. Mike has had some challenge wins. So he's going to know Carolyn wants to get rid of me. I'm going to win immunity, and then Carolyn's going to have to work with me because she's turned her back on the others. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they know the advantage. No one's going to trust Carolyn and no one's going to trust Mike. But Carolyn knows the advantage that Dan has.
Right.
So all they have to do is Mike win immunity. Carolyn and Mike vote for Sierra or Dan, but I think it's going to be Sierra. They waste Dan's vote. They both get to keep 2 goats, and they go head-to-head with Rodney. That would be the great scenario, actually, for Carolyn and Mike.
But I think Sierra's a vote in their pocket. I don't think she is. You don't think so?
I don't know. What did she vote?
She was the biggest cheerleader for Mama C when she won that reward.
Yeah, she was.
I mean, she was the first person to cheer.
Who did she vote for last night?
She voted for Tyler. She voted with Carolyn and Mike against Tyler.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
think
maybe she's
look
in
at each
there.
other.
Oh, so maybe I didn't look at the votes afterwards. I saw that she was happy, but I didn't see that she voted for Tyler.
Because Mike could easily play both sides and say, look, Dan, after he wins immunity, he goes to Dan and says, look, that is the challenge threat right there. We got rid of Tyler, but we still got her. Let's vote for her. And then he goes to Carolyn and says, hey, Dan's voting for you. So Carolyn plays her idol, and no matter how many votes Dan throws, which 3 against 3 would be the time to do it, they throw their votes on Dan, and he gets knocked out because Carolyn idols herself.
I like that. I like that scenario, actually, David.
Thank you, Cass.
How about this?
Dwayne, are you still here? Okay.
How about this scenario? Carolyn tells Mike. Mike tells Dan that he has misunderstood the advantage.
Go on, do it again. I want to hear this.
You be Dan, or do you want to be Mike or Dan? I'll be Dan. No, I'll be Dan. It's easier.
Okay. Dan, you've misunderstood the advantage.
I don't think you're listening to me. You're not listening to me.
No, you got to do it slower. I don't think you're listening to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I cannot disagree with you. I really can't.
Because Dan says at Tribal, it doesn't matter if they know about the advantage or not. I've got the advantage. I think 6 is where he's going to use it. I think he's going to use it next week because it's 3.
That's so dumb. It's so dumb. Because you know what he's going to do? He's going to split his stupid vote.
You're being so mean to Dan. It's a lot of fun though.
I know. I'm sorry, Dan. I mean, but he's
right.
being set up for a misuse of this advantage.
Yes. Oh yeah,
Jen called him out, like Dwayne said. Jen called him out, and it's probably going to happen.
Yeah. And Marco Polo says, I never understood why Dan had to go for the advantage at the auction anyway. He was a for sure goat to be carried to the final. Now he's a target.
Excellent point. Excellent point.
He's not a target, really.
Well, he's only a target in the sense that he has the advantage.
But everyone knows he's not going to use that advantage, right?
Right.
Or at least Jen did.
That is what we're hearing. All right, here's another one. Nope, that's the wrong one. I meant this one. Sierra is our runner-up. Someone's voting her way just to make sure Will or Dan is in third place. Now, that happened recently. Was it last season that someone put a vote just so that the person would be second place? Yeah,
Jacqueline got 1 vote, so Missy would get third, wasn't it?
Right. So
I don't even know. We haven't seen Sierra. I keep forgetting she's there, and I feel bad about that.
Yeah.
But
all right.
I don't think she makes our final 3. I think she would have been a little more present in the edit.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, I think she's the first one out because she's got friends on the jury. No matter how she's played, I think she's got too many possible friends on the jury, and Mike or Carolyn wouldn't want to risk that. So I think Sierra goes 5th, and Carolyn goes 4th, and Mike takes Rodney and Will. Final 3. That's my call.
All right. My mind is starting to float in the room. So let's get to tribal council.
Welcome to my world.
Now I know how they feel in Colorado. All right. Oh, tribal council. Mike, one of the 6 is going home. Dan, I'm the bottom of the 6. What about the Dan? I mean, anything I want to talk about tribal? Oh, Tyler going. Yes, I would be surprised if it was me. And I was like, well, it is you.
Kiss of death. Yeah.
I like Mike. Mike plays the idol. By the way, I play that on myself. Just in case.
Yeah. Just in case you thought I was playing it on Will.
Yeah. Tyler goes home. Special announcement time. I mean, there you go. There's the whole episode, right?
Yeah.
I don't really think anything too interesting happened at Tribal Council myself.
I think this podcast was more interesting than the episode. It was a good episode, but I think our discussion was even better.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this discussion, guys. Thank you for having me.
Any episode that Kass is on is better. So therefore, you need to vote for Kass for the Second Chance, Survivor Second Chance. All right? Do it today. And while you're there, vote for Kelly and some of the others. I tell you what, since we're at the special announcement, I voted last night, and I didn't have a hard time at all picking 10 guys. That was easy. The 10 girls, I only wanted like 5 of them on there anyway. The rest of them I don't even want on. Have you voted yet, either one of you?
Yes.
No, I'm not voting. These people all suck.
Including you? I mean, is that what you're saying? Including like all 32?
Yeah. 31 suck. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Well,
no,
anyway,
I voted.
Did you vote? Good. I had a hard time picking 10 females.
No, I didn't have a hard time, but I'll probably pick 10 different ones tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I have in the males and females, I probably have 5 or 6 that I really would like to see on.
Right.
And then, like, 4 or 5, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just random. But I'm actually voting. I'm already playing the game, so I'm voting for people I think I could beat.
Well, right, of course. Right.
Well done.
And
I mean, that's what I would do if I was in that opportunity.
But in the same vein, I love all the old school people because, you know me, I've been a fan from the beginning. So I love the thought of Kelly Wigglesworth, Jeff Varner, Kimmy.
Right.
Savage, I love, but then I learned maybe he knows Jeff Probst personally, so that kind of taints my view. But
oh, yeah. Yeah.
I still feel I'd like to see all these pre-season 20 people get on because I like the thought of people who haven't played in many years coming back and playing. And
right.
Like Kelly Wigglesworth, she was in her 20s and now she's in her late 30s and she's a mom and married. I'd love to see who she is as a person now,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and how she would play and how life changes do that. And I think there's a dynamic among recent players. When you see yourself on TV, you might change your game. Like,
right.
Personally, even though I'm always going to be sarcastic and who I am,
Mm-hmm.
I really have taken to heart a lot of things I've read about myself. So,
right.
Chaos Kass, you know, that was a fun ride. But this is Second Chances, and for me, this is
right.
my last chance. I already told them I will not come back no matter what. I want to win. So I'm going to do what I have to do to win. And I'm not playing for popularity or anything. I'm playing to win. And if that means I have to suck it up and listen to Terry and Shane and all these guys and be like, yes, sir, you're great. Carry those balls across that net, I will.
So as a fan, if you're not on this ballot, who from this season 30 cast would you like to see play again as a fan? Is there anybody that jumps out at you?
Well, I love Shireen.
That does not surprise me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would love to see Shireen play again.
I want to see her play when no one is... Personally, I feel like a lot of dirty stuff happens out there, and I know that from my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And my perspective on that's different, and I know it's been all crazy out there, and I don't want to get into it. But I'd like to see her in a season where that does not come into play.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's not in our face that's into play, and see if she can assimilate into a tribe where she doesn't feel that way.
I wonder how much better she would have done if Max had not been there.
I personally, with Max, I don't think he deserves a second shot. I think he was the professor of Survivor and touted himself as such and did all these things to emulate past people, but not to be his own character.
Right.
And not to go out and win, more like to go out and be part of Survivor. I don't think that deserves a second shot.
It'll be interesting to see what he says because we're going to talk to him about a week and a half about why, talk to him, and he's going to say why he wants to be on the show again. So it'll be interesting to see what he says.
Yeah, I mean, if I spent my life studying Survivor and teaching other people about it,
pre-merge, no one would date you, Kass. No one would date you.
If I were not a happily married woman, I'm totally dateable. I'd be all over Tinder as the evil mother who has no soul. There's a picture out there.
Not if you were pre-merge. I'm sorry. Not if you were voted out pre-merge.
No, I might be pre-merge if I return, right? That's the rumor on the internet. I'm first out.
Oh,
so,
really? Wow. The game hasn't even played yet. You're not even on the show, and they're already...
Not even on the finale yet.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Cass is first out!
In case you didn't know, I haven't left yet, but I'm going on a vacation with the likes of Spencer, Brad Culpepper, and Vetus, and all the other proposed. But no, who I would vote for, all the early people, because I want to see them back, just as a person, and if this is truly a social experiment, anyone who believes that and still buys into it should want to see how these people have aged and how they've matured, and if they gained anything in life. Are they still hanging on to that moment they had 10, 15 years ago?
Right.
Or have they moved on and come in with a fresh outlook?
Right.
That, to me, is fascinating. The newer players that I'd want to see are people I think could truly bring something new to the game. There's several players I don't think have changed. I don't think they've evolved in any way. And I think we'll get the same game out of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to name them because then they'll be all pissed off at me.
They're the ones feeling like they were shortchanged and never got to play their game, so they're going to play the same thing.
Right. If you didn't write, if your answer to the question, what will you do differently, is not win, I don't buy it. Wait, I'm the only one who answers like that.
I'm interested to see how Spencer. Oh, were you the only one who did that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my only answer. Win. Period.
I'm interested to see how Spencer will play differently, because he basically said, I would have played completely differently if I had not been in the situation I was in, which may have been to his detriment, so I'm not sure what he'll do.
Well, all of us say that. If I hadn't been on the bottom from the start, Spencer started at the top, so I don't know what the hell he's complaining about. He started out in an alliance of 4, and he let that go to crap because he let Garrett take over, and then the girls took over, and then Chaos Kass took over. So, but I think you need some time to mature or something, and even I would prefer to have several more years distance.
Yeah.
Not physically, but mentally. But this.
I like what Proud Nurse says on YouTube. This will be a first chance for Shireen to play with decent humans.
I like that she thinks any of the people in the running are decent humans.
There you go. All right. Well, we got some feedback to get to, so let's go ahead and get to our feedback. And this is, we do recap and feedback on the same show now, so we don't have to do 2 shows.
I know, you poor guys are exhausted.
And my tooth is killing me.
You guys do a great job.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
I'm very proud that you guys are growing, and your viewership and whatever, I don't know what it's called.
Listenership.
Linkship?
Yeah, whatever.
Listenership.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are doing well.
Well, thank you. Well, we have fun doing it, so.
I know you guys have a good reputation for being actually nice, so I think that goes a long way when people are going through this as contestants. So go to your feedback.
And every once in a while we have someone on the show that really tests our boundaries on that nice. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, we did call Holly and get her to send the book, so I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, I'm just playing. What?
Where's my ball sack?
Yeah,
yeah. I misplaced it.
You left it behind the ladder.
It's in my purse.
All right,
I know
David.
I know Mr. Kass isn't listening, so I'm not worried.
There you go. David, let's go ahead and start with you with Andy Westover. All right?
Oh, you skipping Bobby?
Oh, well, now I'm not. Okay, let's go back to Bobby.
Sorry.
It's okay. I found this channel the reason why I was going to skip it is because we were running a little late, and it's from last week, but I'm going to go ahead and read it. I found this channel a few weeks ago and planning to watch as much of your older videos as I can. It's a good podcast that I enjoy listening to, but I can rarely make it to your live show, so I watched the archive. I know you read feedback sometimes, so I thought I would say my thoughts. I hate pagonging as much as many people do, but what has mostly confused me about this season is the fan perception of two people, Dan and Mike. Yes, Dan made what appeared to be sexist comments, but to those who are outliers from everything else he has done. He shows great enthusiasm for being here, shows great knowledge of the game, and has some of the best secret scene confessionals of anyone there. His few black marks are offset by all the good I think he is for the show. All right. What I don't feel can be debated, though, is Dan's poor communication skills. I laugh every time you play those sound effects of the not in service call.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in...
Or the crickets. As I feel they are appropriate. He deserves that kind of teasing. We agree. And it's fun to tease Dan because he takes it and he likes it. However, I feel like he is just a good guy who doesn't know how to talk to other people. He is too blunt, a trait that I often share with him. It's not a very socially accepted trait, as people would frequently rather be told nice lies instead of mean truths. But I appreciate that Dan is not filtered. Filtered people are boring and often not genuine. He is one of the most genuine people cast this season, and is why, other than Shireen, he is my favorite of the season. Okay. Most genuine? Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, doesn't he say things to people and then go, I didn't really believe that?
Well, he's genuine to himself. And here's the thing.
Professionals, not to people necessarily.
Okay, I got you.
I don't think Dan. Okay, I think Dan is someone who is often misinterpreted. I think you have to look at his cultural background. New England, Maine guy. My mom's from New England. My grandparents are from New England. So I get it. They are particularly from Maine, which I've spent many summers there, and they're very blunt people. You know, do I think Dan is sexist if he were a 25-year-old man? Certainly. But I don't know how old Dan is. Is he like 50?
I think he's 46 or something.
He was 47 when they filmed. Cause he was,
oh my God, he's younger than my husband. He looks terrible. Okay.
Your husband or Dan?
No, Dan. That's weird to me that he's younger than my husband. That's weird. Anyway, but I think it's that.
It's terrible.
No, I'm trying to process all that right now.
I know.
I think while you're processing, I think Dan is taken too literally sometimes. As in, people don't say, Dan, relax, or Dan, what are you talking about? They hear Dan and they take it and it's done. It's like I think if you get to know Dan, you laugh at Dan. Right. And I don't think
you laugh with him.
Yes. I could have a beer with Dan and get along fine in a small dose. He'd be the guy where you go out and drink with him and hang out with him and watch a football game, which I don't watch football, but I'm pretending I do. Maybe watch a hockey game with him, and he'd be fun to hang out with in a small dose.
Right.
But I don't fault him because I think that's the culture he comes from. Just like we don't fault Rodney, we shouldn't fault Dan. But Dan is a little more mean-spirited, in my opinion, and that there's so many things that go into that. I've been reading all these books, so I feel for Dan. I feel for Dan because I know he's going through a rough time. Because I've been the villain on a season, and I did far less than Dan did to earn that. But yeah, I don't know what I think of Dan. He just seems like, I was in the military. He reminds me of certain chiefs I had in the Navy who were just kind of, that's just the way they were, and you get used to it.
Right.
So.
All right, let's continue. He says, Mike, I have the opposite opinion of, and also seems to be the opposite opinion of most. I think that other than Will, he is the worst player of the season. Wow. He is self-admittedly too aggressive, as he said in some secret scenes, He wants to do everything himself because he thinks he can do it better solo than in a team, which is not a good trait, as you are, to some degree, reliant on other people to get far in this game. He was in the best position in the game until the auction, which has to be the contention for top 10 worst plays in Survivor history. He showed in front of everyone, including Probst, that Mike will break your trust in a moment's notice. From a viewer's perspective, it looked great, but moves that look great for the viewers are often bad from a strategic point of view. He further compounds his error by calling out Rodney when they get back with terrible timing. He relegated himself to needing to immunity out in order to win. If he makes the final tribal, yeah, he will win, but I don't think it would be deserved, as he would have gotten there only by challenges. Mike seems like a nice guy when he is not playing Survivor, but as a Survivor player, I am having a hard time understanding why he is so popular. I know it's long, and I don't expect you to read this whole thing, but as a new person to this podcast, I am enjoying it. May even donate to you guys in the future. Have a good day and enjoy the season, Bobby. Thank you, Bobby. See, Bobby wrote that to an email to me, and I don't even think he expected us to read it as a feedback, but he had some really good points in there. So I'm glad we took the time to do it. All right, Dan. Sorry, David, I just called you Dan. Andy Westover, Dan.
Crickets, yeah. Please.
Oh, hey, Dan and Will at the camp after the vote. As God is my witness. All right, go ahead.
So I'm just going to go out on a limb tonight in what may be a little bit of fan fiction, but just hear me out. This is Andy Westover.
That's all right. David's already done plenty of fan fiction.
Yeah, so. Really. Yeah, I rewrote.
Wait. Put that Marvin Gaye back on for the fan fiction. I think we're going somewhere here.
Oh, wait a second.
All right.
Hold on. Proudverse on YouTube says, I really think Dan wrote that feedback. All right. And she also says, I'm with Kass. Dan should only be taken in small doses. So,
yep.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Andy's fan fiction point number 1. I don't love this move for Carolyn. Tyler was an obvious threat and did need to go. However, I just wonder if it was a vote or two too soon for her. I think she could have stayed with Tyler, voted out Dan and his advantage, since they are apparently the only two that know what it is, and dealt with Tyler a little later. Having his vote on her side could have been beneficial for the next couple votes. Either way, certainly not a horrible move, as she got in before he could get her, and we all know that would have happened eventually. I think it is very possible that this is more of a Sierra... I'm sorry, number 2. I think it is very possible that this is more of a Sierra move.
Who?
Yeah, I said it.
Sierra?
I'm not entirely comfortable with it, but I think she may deserve the credit here for a couple reasons. A, we haven't seen much from her, and she has been vocal about getting out Tyler for a couple episodes now, and has really been the one that has been so other than Mike. So I remember she was the one that went to Rodney and said he's going to win this game. We need to get rid of Tyler. Point B, everyone knew what Mike was doing, so this was a no-brainer for him and therefore not his move. As previously mentioned, though not a horrible move, there were certainly some reasonable motives for Carolyn to keep Tyler around and to vote out Dan instead. This was not an obvious or slam-dunk move for Carolyn, yet she did it anyway. Why? The reward challenge may have contributed, but I think Sierra's insistence likely played a role. And if Sierra did insist and we didn't see it, then Sierra's not getting a good edit.
Well, Sierra has mentioned Tyler the last couple of episodes, which is, I think, where this point is. So.
Right, but they made it look like it was all Carolyn. And then point C, of the two that flipped, this makes the most sense for Sierra. Mike is an obvious target for everyone and will continue to be so. Tyler and Carolyn are arguably the two biggest threats to win the game ahead of her. Thus, getting out one of them out is advantageous to Sierra. Though her beating anyone based on merit is not a slam dunk, it seems fair to argue that a final 3 of Dan, Sierra, and Will could definitely go Sierra's way, especially considering the Dan/Will hate in the current jury members.
Mm-hmm.
And D, so what is Sierra's path to the end? Okay, this is his fiction, Sierra, who's in the episodes.
All right.
Now Next time Mike or Carolyn don't play an idol or win immunity, they will be the biggest targets for the remaining players. Aim for Rodney with the other vote. I believe it is in Will, Dan, and Sierra's best interest to be in the final three together. So an unholy and potentially unspoken alliance could be born out of this. So what do you think? Fan fiction or the potential beginning of Sierra's winter edit? Andy, I think he put a J there for joking, but Andy from Cameron, Missouri.
Fan fiction.
You know what's funny is, while you were reading that, I actually got up, went to the bathroom, and came back.
Yeah, well, we knew you were gone, but we didn't know what you did.
Sorry.
Andy was trying to pass off the idea that Sierra was behind the Tyler vote, and she's the one making a run with Will and Dan to the end, and we could just leave it at that.
Yeah. Basically, what you just did is what Andy said.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wasn't that long, but I think we've just discussed that we didn't discuss Sierra much this whole time.
Exactly.
And we keep reminding ourselves she's there.
Right.
So, yeah, that's why I felt free to go do whatever I needed to do.
There you go.
I'm sorry, Dwayne. I make you uncomfortable, but it's kind of funny.
Oh, gosh. Actually, you don't make me uncomfortable at all.
Just the listeners?
I love it.
Crickets.
I just have to be careful sometimes that I don't, enjoy it too much.
Okay.
Because we're family friendly, and and there are people with 9-year-olds listening, and I try to be sensitive.
My 7-year-old's in the room next door here.
Exactly. So it's all good. We're all on the good side of it. All right, here we go. Steve Tarantino. Hey, D&D, I'm not surprised about what happened to Tyler this week on the show. I did say that if Tyler didn't win, he is out. Yeah, that makes sense. I think he meant if he didn't win immunity, he was out. Yeah. I'm very surprised about Carolyn, though. I would think she would have given her idol to Tyler if he didn't win. Then again, it is Survivor. I'm guessing Tyler has some questions for Carolyn at the finale. I would. Rodney, I do feel bad he can't win any reward challenges for food at all. When the challenge was over, I knew that Sierra and Mike weren't giving up anything to Rodney. But Carolyn also? Wow. I guess they aren't that tight. Also, how can Rodney even think with his plan that Mike wouldn't play his idol this week? Also, how can Rodney even think with his plan that Mike wouldn't play his idol this week? Come on, Rodney. I give you more credit than that. Mike wasn't fooled for 1 minute. If Mike won this week, wow, he's coasting to the final.
Right.
Yes. Dan, I would think he would use his advance at this week's Tribal Council. I mean, he was one of the targets for this week after what happened last week's challenge, right? Maybe he is forgetting he has an advantage. There are not that many days left for him to use it. Will Sierra, sometimes I forget they are even on the show. We don't see much of them on the show. Boy, they're really not giving Will much edit at all these last couple episodes. So now we are looking at 2 weeks left in the season. I hope for a nice finale. I would love to see Will, Rodney, Mike in the finale. Thanks, D&D. Steve, the graphic artist. Steve made the comment about why didn't Carolyn do it? Well, I think Kass made a very good point. This is one of the most meaningful rewards, and Carolyn's a mom, and this meant a whole lot more to her than it would have to Rodney. So, yeah. All right, David. Werner from South Africa. It's a nice short
Good evening, Dwayne and David. Werner here from South Africa. One comment and one question. Here's the comment. It's amazing how fickle we can be as people. There was time earlier in the game when Dan went through a tough patch. He was hated by the girls, and Dan was really discouraged. After Mike encouraged Dan, he said the following about Mike: "That man is a walking ray of sunlight." That's true. He said that like episode 2. It's amazing how quickly Dan forgot that Mike is actually a good friend and his best ally. Dan went from being grateful for Mike to talking rudely behind his back. And now here's the question. What happened to Mike? He was working on everyone's nerves with his work ethic, and he was very unpopular. Suddenly it changed, and now he was well-liked by the jury and respected by other players. Did he grow as a player? Is he becoming smarter as the game is progressing? Thanks, guys. You are champs. I don't know if it was so much Mike as it was everybody else that turned on the jury and those that are over there.
There's 2 parts of the game. It's pre-merge and pre-jury versus post-jury. So if you wake up yelling at people about firewood for instance.
Mm-hmm.
That was all on blue collar, right?
Yeah,
and those were people who weren't losing. The longer a tribe goes without losing, the more you get this infighting over silly little things.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're just itching to get rid of someone and start playing, but you don't want to give that up. So that negative side of Mike was shown kind of pre-merge, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That was when we had Lindsay and Rodney and all that. And we've seen with Rodney that he gets explosive and angry, but then he doesn't hold it.
Right.
You know, which is a great quality.
Right.
Like, explode at him, you know, I'll get the damn firewood when I want, and then he's over it. He's going to do your impressions and entertain you and complain that he's hungry. So
he also said that he goes off and calms down because he wants to be cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah,
so
that's all the
he's
trees
got
with
this,
holes in them.
Yeah, he's got this mantra in his head. I'm going to be cool, calm, and collected. Cool, calm, and collected. So when he does blow up, he's got that mantra. So I think what happens is he steps away and he goes and he gets himself calm.
Yeah, he has his own personal 3-step program.
Right.
Going on.
How neat would it be to find out that Mike and Rodney have had a secret alliance this whole time? We need to be fighting. We need to keep everybody on their toes.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening. And
well, you're really into the fan fiction tonight, aren't you, David?
Have we seen Mike since jury time actually have that negativity around camp? We haven't seen him explode at people. He came to Shireen's defense, but we haven't seen him get in a fight over work ethic, which was really the only thing. And then at the beginning, he ate that scorpion, which I thought was foreshadowing when he was like, I'm going to do whatever I have to do, you know, I'm going to eat whatever I have to eat. That when we saw that in the first or second episode, whenever it was, I was like, oh my God, he's our winner, because they just showed him eating something poisonous and saying, it doesn't matter, I'm going to do whatever I have to do.
Right.
So, and then I kind of fell off the Mike bandwagon for a while, but I kind of feel like if he wins and he does this immunity run, or somehow without winning immunity gets to the end, he deserves it. Big time. But we have not seen him post-merge explode or have a negative edit at all.
Nope.
That was all pre-merge where he was kind of goofy and stuff. So, but we've seen Rodney kind of go on this downward trajectory right now. He had kind of a little peak. So I'm super confused with this. I don't think a woman's winning.
Yeah, I think
because Jeff likes the season.
I think to answer Verner's question, I think Mike has grown as a player. He's picking his spots. Even though he regrets going off on Rodney for flipping on him after the auction, you know, the timing was bad. He admits that. That's like one of the main negative things we saw of him. And that wasn't even a blow-up. That was just a, look, I know what you're doing. He just called him out. And the timing was poor, but otherwise that wasn't the Mike that we saw with Blue Collar. Not at all. Yeah. We don't see that guy at all anymore.
And maybe Mike and Rodney have more like a brother relationship where they kind of fight about things and then they're over it. Like, they feel that they're equal. I think that's what's going on. I think they're both guys that are...
respect thing.
Yeah, because after every challenge, there's high fives and there's congrats and there's a good try and all this kind of stuff. You still hear that going on.
Neither of them seem very, mean or vengeful.
Right.
Against each other.
Right.
So.
Right. Not like Dan. We're really getting that from Dan when he's talking about Mike.
Yeah. Dan really is upset with Mike. Yeah.
And why? I mean, Mike has never voted against him.
Because he broke his trust. And trust.
I think that's it. I think they had it since day one, and all of a sudden Mike went on his own. He broke that trust, like Dwayne said.
Well, pregame, I actually picked them for going to the end together.
Yeah. Because
of their body language towards each other and all the photos, but.
Right.
And see, that's another part of Dan's argument to the jury, and that look at me. I am the oldest, fattest, ugliest, slowest, non-physical challenge person on this tribe. I should have been the first one gone, but I figured out a way to get to the end. So that's why I'm asking for your vote. That's just one thing in his favor, I think.
That is a horrible argument.
Nope. I found myself saying yep because I say yep a lot, and then I realized, wait a second, I can't say yep to that. All right, we have one more feedback, and then we're going to let Kass go to bed. Here we go. Will the Giant Ninja. What's up, guys? It's Will from Wonder Lake again, a.k.a. the Giant Ninja. So we're headed to Des Moines to spend Mother's Day with my mother-in-law. Happy Mother's Day, Kass.
Crickets.
Why crickets? You have kids?
Oh no, I'm going to my mother-in-law's too for Mother's Day.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know whether y'all know this, but I love me some Kass. 6 hours in the car, 5 kids, the youngest of whom cried for the last 2 hours. Oh joy! But my daughter.
Is his name Rodney?
Yeah. But my daughter Grace asked whether we could all wear our Survivor Talk shirts today. The Hawks play tonight, but I agreed. We look adorable or annoying, I can't tell. He actually posted a picture in our Facebook group. So we're down to 6. It's about time for a why they'll win, why they'll lose by the Giant Ninja. So here we go, from the least likely to win to the most likely to win. Number 6, Other Will. Why he'll win? He won't, period. Even if he's there with Danimal in a final 2, he loses. Why he'll lose? He has nothing to hang his hat on. He's awful at challenges. He's shown no strategic acumen to speak of, and his social quote-unquote game has alienated 4 votes already, plus Sierra and Mike. Number 5, Danimal. Why he'll win again? Why he'll win? Again, he won't. Sorry, David. But if he does, it will be because he engineered his ideal final 3 by utilizing his double vote. Dan used it at final 6. That's when it's most valuable. Why he'll lose? Because his understanding of what's going on is lacking, and everyone knows it. He'll be in the final 3, but he won't get any votes. In fact, everyone above here should try to go to the end with Dan, and Other will. Number 4, Rodney. Why he'll win? Simply put, Dan will stay loyal to him, and he's the least offensive of the non-Mike men. Why he'll lose? He can't beat any of the people above him, and at least one of them will get to the end. Number 3, Sierra. Why she'll win? Because she's the smallest target of the likable players. Why she'll lose? Rodney could beat her on a strength of his strategic game, and she's been seen as a follower all game. Moreover, on meta level, we haven't been getting the Sierra perspective, which tells me she'll be out soon. Number 2, Carolyn. Why she'll win? Mama C had her coming out party this week. She took out her strongest ally and has a hidden immunity idol that nobody knows about. Well, except for Tyler. She will make the final 4 and isn't a target yet. She wins easily as long as Mike isn't sitting with her. Why she'll lose? Mike will be sitting with her. And number 1, most likely to win, Mike. Why he'll win? The only way this season plays out in any way that would cause Jeff Probst to say that it's a great season is if Mike, his blue-collar, hard worker, overcomes the odds and challenge wins his way to $1 million. Mike can win the last 3 minutes. He'll be the favorite in each of them. Mike can win the last 3 immunities. That's what I meant to say. He'll be the favorite in each of them, and he's a shoo-in to win if he gets to the end. Why he'll lose? Everyone is gunning for him. Unless something changes, he's out if he fails to win immunity. But things do change, alliances adapt, loyalties shift, and chaos will be Mike's salvation in this game. Shout out to Kass. Am I right this time? Do I have the power rankings right? Is Mike our winner? Tweet me at the Giant Ninja. Well, that's it for now. Go Hawks. Later, peeps. Will at the Giant Ninja. P.S. Hashtag vote for Kass. Hashtag Chicago style. Hashtag early and often.
Ooh, that last one was a little disconcerting, but okay.
It's vote early and vote often, I think is what it means.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Dwayne.
No, I'm sorry. All right, somebody on YouTube, if Mama C and Mike gets voted out, hope not, who's the acceptable winner for you guys?
Rodney.
Yeah, Rodney. Yeah, we've said that. And Proud Nurse says Carolyn will not win. She has flipped on every person on the jury thus far, Shireen, Haley, Jen, and Tyler. Yes, Proud Nurse, before you came on and started watching, Kass made that very exact point. So there you go. Well, we've already talked about Survivor Second Chances pretty much, unless there's anything else you want to say, Kass, before we go. other than to vote for you.
Yeah, vote for me if you want to, and even if you don't want to.
Yeah. I mean, you got those extra votes. You might as well put one of them on Kass, right?
I agree. I mean, the women's pool, there's a few people you can add or not add. So add me if you're thinking about it.
Yep. All right. So let's see.
So wait, who's our winner then?
Who's our winner? Oh, I think Mike's going to win.
I hope Mike wins because it would be a good winner.
Oh, I agree. It'll be a fun win to watch, too. Mike's been fun to watch the whole season. You know?
So Mike gets every vote but except one person. Jen votes for Rodney just so Dan doesn't get second place. And then Dan's third, Carolyn's fourth, Sierra's fifth, and no. I'm sorry, Will gets third place behind Rodney.
Will's in it for sure.
Yeah, I think Dan goes this week.
But Will's going to be our 0 votes person for this season. So whoever goes with Mike and Will or Rodney and Will gets second.
I think it'll be Rodney. I think it's Mike, then Rodney, then Will. Carolyn fourth, Sierra fifth, and Dan sixth this week.
Yeah.
I think Carolyn's our second placer. Even though she made her move this week, she's going to idle out someone. I think she'll get to the end. I don't know. Well, because Rodney's more likable. If Mike is smart and he goes on an immunity run, he's not going to take Rodney because he knows people like Rodney.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Rodney and Carolyn could flip places. You're right, because the point you just made about her turning on everybody on the jury.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be a good reason to take her.
Yep.
Mike's got this in the bag. If he can just get to the end, it's his.
That's right. So,
all right, guys.
Golly, that's all I got. Do you have any final words, anybody?
Survivor Will wanted to say that Kass looks much more awake right now than Andy did last time we had Andy on.
Well, that's because Andy goes to sleep at 8 o'clock at night, and we always keep him up late.
Yes.
I'm pretty tired, and these broken glasses are just killing me tonight. But
they're annoying you to death, aren't they?
They really are annoying. You guys, glasses and the one side's gone.
Yeah.
Just,
Hi, I'm Kass. Vote for me for Survivor Second Chance.
So I can
please.
afford a new pair
I
of
need
glasses.
new glasses. my
You guys
lawyers,
don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I'm blind. I have 2600 in one eye and 2020 in the other. So this is my bad eye. I don't even know if you can. And this is my normal eye. So I have to wait like 10 days to get glasses, and my dog ate my other pair.
Yeah.
And these broke, and
do you take contacts on the show?
No, she can't because she went to get contacts and they were a half-inch thick and they wouldn't work.
Precisely. So I have not been this long without functional glasses since like 3rd grade, and it's driving me nuts. And this has been a big week for me in my career. So it's I always know something goes good. Whenever I have a huge case, this is the biggest case of my life, which previously the biggest case of my life that I was working on, my glasses broke right before like the big deal.
Wow. Yeah,
and that happened to me this last week. And I'm just waiting to get a flat tire or have my car overheat because that's something else that happens. Because I live up in the mountains and the courthouse is down on the valley floor.
Right. Yeah.
So when I've had big cases, my glasses break and my car has some sort of problem.
Tomorrow you're going to go outside and the engine's going to be laying on the ground beside the car.
I'm seriously waiting for. I have a huge case going on right now. I was not actually lying about a work conflict, and I'm trying to get 7 lawyers all to sign a stipulation for a continuance and a stay for 2 months so I can go on Survivor.
Yes.
And I'm waiting.
Survivor.
No, they know what it is. That's what's hilarious. You go to these hearings, and then last week I was in a really big one, and I finally at the end was like, you guys, I have a chance to go on Survivor, and if you guys don't do this week, I'm not going. I will say no, because this case means more to me than this. I've been with this client for many years, and no matter what you think of me, I do have some ethics. So it was so funny. The lead counsel on the defense side was like, we know you were on Survivor. My wife and I watch it. We love it. And he's like, I would never keep you from Survivor. What do we need to do?
Yeah, really.
So everyone's on board. I need those signatures, though, because we're 13 days out right now from leaving. And I own my own firm. It's really hard to leave.
Right.
And it's kind of abandonment of your clients. Of course, my clients are all like, please go, please go.
Right.
So.
Do you argue cases in front of juries?
Not often. I mean, I'm a plaintiff's attorney, like a civil attorney, and a lot don't go to trial. You know, you bluff your way.
Right. Well, I was wondering if you did, would that taint the jury pool? I mean,
yeah.
Does the judge look at this and go, how are we going to get a fair jury? They all know Kass.
Well, I live in a very small county. There's only 2 judges that are civil judges.
I thought you were going to say there's only 2 TVs. Go ahead.
There's only, but there's 2 judges that do civil matters in our county that are, when you're fighting over money only. And that's the kind of law I do. And they both know who I am. And I guarantee you it's a factor since Survivor whenever I go in that when I was on Survivor, it was on the CBS News every week. It was in the local paper. It's a big deal. I mean, I know you all think California is like all LA. But there's 8,000 people in my town, and we're 2 hours from LA. We're many hours from any metropolis, and it was a huge deal here. So I go into the courthouse. The bailiffs know who I am.
Right.
Everyone has pictures with me, and I know if I have a jury trial, at least 1 or 2 people of the 12 are going to know who I am.
Right.
I have not had a jury trial since I went on Survivor, and I think it's a pretty big factor when I go in and just say, one of those people will have seen me in my underwear on TV, and no matter what they think of that, they all go home that night and Google me, and that changes perception. So it's hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely. You were saying, most people think California is all LA, but heck, the north part of California, they were almost their own state.
Yeah, and I'm from Kern County, which is also where, Kelly Wigglesworth is from North Carolina originally, but when she went on Survivor, she actually was from like 45 minutes from where I am. She was a river guide up in the mountains.
Yeah.
And then Nina from the current season is from 45 minutes the other way towards LA. And we're going to do lunch, I hope, soon. I've just, we've just started talking, so hopefully we will get to meet up.
Sometime in the next 13 days.
Probably not the next 13 days because I'm school. It's the end of the school year, and
that's true.
It's rough. This one's a rough one for me to be part of it. I want to go, but the timing is difficult.
Yeah.
But if I go, I'm going to go to win, and
that's right. Well, it'll certainly be fun to watch you, and I'm certainly voting for you. So I hope that you make it on. So thank you for coming on our show tonight. I'm glad we planned this a couple months ago, and I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, thanks, you guys. It's always good, and whenever you need someone, just give me a call. Not about any seasons I'm on, obviously, unless I'm the first boot, and then I'll just talk trash. But, you guys should do this earlier so you're not so sleepy.
Oh, I'm only sleepy because I've been taking pain medicine. Otherwise, it's a good time for us usually.
All right.
But
I'm truly happy that you guys are doing better. Like the podcast is growing. I like that.
Well, thank you.
And I love you guys' attitude. No, I mean you
corrected yourself quickly. That was good.
No, it's really taken off. I feel like since I met you guys, you're like double the viewers or listeners or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's fun. Well, we have a great Facebook group too, and thank you for being a part of that because that is really fun community.
Yeah.
I like your community because you guys are nice.
Yeah. I tell you what, in all honesty, the last couple of weeks has been difficult in the group because we try to keep it a family-friendly group, and we try to one of our understandings in the Facebook group is we don't do personal attacks. We give each other the benefit of the doubt, and we're kind to one another. Well, you have 100 people join in 1 week. because of an article about Will and Dan and stuff. And oh my gosh, it was tough. You know, I was doing all kinds of messaging and, all right, y'all, you know, we're a family-friendly group and we're going to be kind to one another and stuff like that. And it's kind of settled down now, and it's pretty awesome because now we have, you know, 95, 100 new people on our Facebook group that are experiencing what we love about our Facebook group, you know, and they're getting a different perspective about stuff. So, you know, because we're not a Facebook group that bashes people and things like that. So anyway.
I think that's why former contestants or present contestants or whatever feel safe coming to you guys.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
so I'd say keep it up because I think you have a good thing going, and I think the reputation is getting out there among contestants that no, you're not going to go be attacked here.
Right. Well, thank you.
So,
yeah.
So good job, guys.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to close out the show. For those of you who are audio listeners, I'm going to close out the show with the acoustic version of Relentless by Hillsong United. I just did it in worship a couple weeks ago, and it was amazing, so I'm going to let you hear it at the end of the show. Check out our other podcast, Movie Talk with D&D. Don't know if you've read or listened to that one yet, Cass, but if you like the movie Die Hard or Super 8, we talked about them, and so that's kind of fun to pass the time. And thanks again to our monthly patrons and those who shop Amazon. We really couldn't do the show without you, and also we have something really big and huge and amazing happening that we can't tell you what it is, but your money is helping it happen. So thank you very much.
Did you find an idol?
Yes, I found an idol. Yes. So follow us on Twitter at Survivor_Talk. Join our Facebook group, stwdd.com/Facebook. Thanks again for listening, everybody. That is all I've got. How about you, Dave?
I'm good.
I don't know why I accidentally hit that. How about you, Cass? You doing all right?
Don't make that sign for us, please.
I
that
won't.
song.
All right. Let's see. Cass.
Crickets.
Oh, yeah, crickets. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Bye, everybody.
See ya.